American history. I hated this class.
After the Civil War, America was trying to pick itself up and dust its shoulders off. With this brought new opportunities, but also brought corruption and greed. People tried to fight this corruption so that even the poorest of immigrants could eventually prosper. This is how they did just that.
Bargaining is a process of negotiations between the employers and the group of employees, aimed to reach agreements and to regulate the working conditions. The interests of employees are commonly presented by the representatives of trade of union to which the employees are belong. The Knights of Labor began as a secret society of trailers in Philadelphia in 1869. The organization grew slowly during the hard years of the 1870s, but worker militancy rose toward the end of the decade, especially after the Great Railroad Strike of 1877, and the Knights' membership rose with it. Grand Master Workman Terence V. Powderly took office in 1879, and under his leadership the Knights flourished by 1886. American Federation of Labor. The American Federation of Labor was the federation of labor unions in the United States. It was founded in Columbus, Ohio in May 1886 by an alliance of craft unions disaffected from the Knights of Labor. The International Ladies Garment Workers Union, also known as the ILGWU, was one of the largest labor unions in the United States. One of the first U.S. unions to have primarily female membership and a key player in the labor history of the 1920s and 1930s. The union generally referred to as the ILGWU or ILG merged with I don't know that word. Amalgamated Clothing and Textile Workers Union in 1995 to form the Union Needle
The
Traders.
Granger movement is a campaign for state control of railroads and grain elevators, especially in the north central states, carried on during the 1870s.
A campaign for state control of railroads and grain elevators, especially in the north central states, carried on during the 1870s by members of the Patrons of Husbandry, or the Grange, a farmers' organization that had been formed for social and cultural purposes. This was known as the Granger Movement. The Granger Laws were a series of laws passed in several Midwestern states of the United States, mainly in Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Illinois in the late 1860s and early 1870s. The main goal of the Grange was to regulate raising fair prices of railroad and grain elevators companies after the American Civil War.
The Wabash case was a Supreme Court decision that severely limited the rights of the states to control interstate commerce. It led to the creation of the Interstate Commerce Commission. The Interstate Commerce Act of 1887 is a United States federal law that was designed to regulate the railroad industry, particularly its monopolistic practices. The act required that railroad rates be reasonable and just, but did not empower the government to fix specific rates.
Some of the early reformers include Thomas Nast, which he was the creator of modern-day Santa Claus, and the creator of the Republican Party symbol, which is the elephant. Jane Addams was also one of the early reformers, and she said that if women were responsible for cleaning up their communities and making them a better place to live, then they needed to be able to vote. And then one of the places I was involved with the early reformers include the Hull House. And the Hull House was a center for research, empirical analysis, study, and debate, as well as a pragmatic center for living in and establishing good relations with the neighborhood. Some of the things that the Hull House conducted investigations in include housing, midwifery, fatigue, tuberculosis, typhoid, garbage collection, cocaine, and truancy. The Sherman Antitrust Act is a landmark federal statute in the history of United States antitrust law, passed by Congress in 1890.
The Act's reference to trusts and to antitrust law in general is sometimes misunderstood by modern readers. In 19th century America, the term trust was synonymous with the monopolistic practices, because a trust was a popular way for monopolists to hold their businesses and way to cartel participants to create enforceable agreements. In most countries outside the U.S., the antitrust law is just known as the competition law instead.
In the end, the working man persevered and survived the wrath of the monopolistic companies. With the help of federal government and labor unions, workers finally would get their fair pay, fair hours, and a better quality of life. I'm Matt Siegel, and thank you for watching.
Take a video of me eating one.
Perfect, we're done.
Stop doing what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin your face.